Project Justice crossover with Street Fighter 6? Oh my gosh.
Yokohama class. From Alabama to Baltimore. Somehow ended up in Kawagoe, Kowedo, then Koshigaya, and now Dori, my new home. Yeah, they know. It's your boy, Dori, Derrell. Got another story to tell.
Alright, so this is your boy, Dorian Andrews, aka Dori Derrell from the Dori Derrell Music Channel. And I want to thank all of you guys for tuning in. Today we are talking about an awesome prospect. What better collaboration could you have than making something within your own company that would tear the roof off of everyone's expectations for Street Fighter 6 DLC? I'm talking Project Justice, which was just re-released from the Capcom Fighting Collection 2. Put some characters in that game into a DLC pack for Street Fighter 6. How awesome would that be? And in this video, I am going to give you 6 characters for Street Fighter 6 who would perfectly fit into the game and why. Not only would they be great gameplay wise, but they would also fit into the story of Project Justice and continue that story into Street Fighter 6. One, a very, very, very obvious choice is Akira. Akira was recently in Street Fighter V as DLC, and it created a huge buzz for the game when the game seemed like it was near death. And a lot of people, including my brother, said that they regretted buying Street Fighter V because it was just so terrible on original launch. The gameplay felt so stiff and the story was boring, and there was literally no story in the beginning, and you just go through the game with just these character art and captions, so you're just reading through script, and it was just terrible. Towards the end of the game, you had some DLC come out, and Akira was one of the best DLC characters. Why? Because not only is it showing that Capcom understands what the fans want, but Akira is one of the most popular characters in fighting games in general. And for her addition to be made, it was a good selling point, but it was also a reminder of past times. A time where fighting games reigned supreme, a time where fighting games were just fun, and they didn't have to have all this DLC, they didn't have to have all of these microtransactions to make a buck. You can just sell a good game with good gameplay and a good story, and people would buy it. And Rival Schools and Project Justice were those types of games. They were just good games. And the design is awesome. Akira has an amazing design. She's disguised as a boy to find her brother. This was during the Rival Schools game. In Project Justice, she joins an all-girl school called Seiju High School, and she takes off her helmet, but she still has on the iconic suit, and she has this camouflage tank top on. It's really, really great. I love the design. So I think she would fit perfectly into the Street Fighter 6 world. Add in the world of Project Justice through her lens. So you can go to Ghetto High School stomping ground where she would meet up with Gon and Edge, who could be cameos in a new stage. How cool would that be? This could tie into her story because she could be looking for her brother, who is, by the way, at the end of Project Justice, he goes to train because he feels like he's embarrassed by being mind controlled again for the second time, and he decides to travel alone and train his body to become a better warrior. What better way to depict that than to put him in Street Fighter 6? That is my second character, Daigo. So Daigo is the brother of Akira, and he has this really cool design. He has this scar on his right eye. I want to say it was his right eye. He could go to Metro City and start building up his strength and and improving his skills, learn new abilities. During that journey, he could find Akira, who's looking for him, and decides to challenge him to test his new abilities to see how well he's doing. That would be an awesome, simple story that you can put into Street Fighter 6. That's one of the charms of Street Fighter 6. All of the stories are pretty simple outside of Ken's. Another character that I would love to see is Tiffany. The reason why I would love to see Tiffany in this game is because not only is she a boxer, which we kind of need in the game because you have Ed as a boxer, but you don't have Balrog and you don't have a female character as a boxer. So I think it would be really cool to see a switch up, and she has really good moves. Even though she's a boxer, she still uses her legs sometimes. Defeats the purpose of having a boxer, but her design is awesome. Let's just be honest. Guys would go crazy. And then you can also bring in a cameo appearance by Roy, maybe be one of her special moves, where she calls on him to do a touchdown or the big uppercut. If you want to argue Roy would be a better pick than Tiffany, I totally agree with that. Vice versa, you could bring in Roy with a guest appearance from Tiffany. And don't forget Bowman. Bowman would be a great cameo appearance as well. And you could have their stage set up in Pacific High School. So you could actually travel from the Creator Warrior mode to America, not only to see Guile, but you could also go to see Roy or Tiffany. All right, next, we also got Batsu. Batsu was already established in Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, so people will already vaguely remember his design and appearance in that game. So he also is the main character of Project Justice, so it would just make sense for him to be in the game. You could use his burning Batsu stage where he has more power-ups and a lot of his attacks are fiery, and that would be really cool. Tie his story from Project Justice into Street Fighter 6, so he could be possibly looking for Kyosuke, or he could be challenging himself to prepare for a competition at his high school or prepare for the next Taiyo Pacific competition. So that could be a way for him to challenge new fighters. With that being said, I want to add in another character from Taiyo High School, the most popular character, Kyosuke. Kyosuke was in Capcom vs. SNK 2, and they just re-released that on the Fighting Collection 2 from Capcom. So what better way to capitalize on that release than to add Kyosuke to Street Fighter 6. This can tie into Kyosuke's story because at the end of his story, Hyo supposedly dies. Kyosuke isn't in school for a long time, and Batsu is saying, you know, he's gonna come back when he's ready. He hasn't returned back to school yet. Where did he go? He went to Metro City. He went to Street Fighter 6 and he decided to train to kind of cope with the pain of the loss of his brother, and he could be fighting to improve his skills. So that would be super cool to see. Now, this last one is a little far-fetched, but stay with me here. What if they brought Hyo Imawano into Street Fighter 6? I know. I just said that he died in the game, but who really dies? At the end of the game, Kuro, like, you see him, he's like, but he didn't die, right? He was in the hospital, and then 4 days later, he scratched his way out. So, in all the other character stories, Hyo disappears. One could assume that he died, but what if he didn't die? What if he decided, you know what? I feel disgraced by being taken over by my father's spirit, so I want to go seek help from maybe Dalsum or Ryu. So he starts learning how to fight without his sword, or to fight with a wooden sword. That would also work. Tie into Project Justice story. So Kyosuke could be looking for his brother. He got news that maybe his brother is still alive. And what better way to tie that into the Project Justice in story with Street Fighter 6, because that's why he didn't come back to the school, because he found out that Hyo's still alive. He's like, I'm gonna find him, he's in Metro City. And Hyo is actually going around the world to find Ryu or find someone to help him battle his father's spirit and to become a stronger warrior so that never happens to him because he was near death. That would be super cool. What do you guys think? I think this is an awesome prospect, but this is just the ramblings of a super huge fighting lover, and I love Rival Schools. It is my favorite fighting game of all time. What do you think? Please like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys for joining me in this conversation. I hope you enjoyed the video, and there's more videos like this coming soon. See you in the next video. This is your boy, Dori Derrell from Dori Derrell Music Channel, signing out. Deuce deuce.